Moshe Silk is with us. He's former Honorable Assistant Secretary for International Markets at the United States Department of the Treasury. A pleasure to welcome you to the show.
Great to be here, Nachum.
Appreciate that. How did you get to know about Amudim and Segal and all the great life-saving work that they do?
Right. Well, I describe myself as a reforming lawyer. I'm not quite yet reformed, Nachum. And prior to the Treasury Department, I practiced law for 30 years, and I had the great honor and pleasure to run the Agudas Yisrael's Pro Bono Legal Services Network for 15 years.
Wow.
And we had a number of different types of cases. One area of which that I took a particular interest was children's cases, and I first got to know Tzvi when we worked together to bring back a child that had been abducted abroad. And Tzvi knows no limits. He just gets the job done along with the great Amudim team.
Amazing. There are a lot of people out there who may not be familiar with Amudim, certainly not to the degree that you are. Why would you appeal to them to come forward and support Amudim at this time?
Well, Amudim is an organization that does not know any disciplinary borders. It's really, I look at it as a crisis response organization. And where there's crisis, Amudim has a role and they deliver success. So I really think at the end of the day, it's not just a mental health issue. Amudim deals with societal issues, and they're there when you need them. A great example was during COVID.
Right.
Amudim touched on everything prior to that. During COVID, people could not get in and out of the country. They couldn't move. And there were crises, for example, in Israel, and Amudim was extraordinarily successful in ensuring that people could move and attend to important, critical family matters, funerals and whatnot during that time. It's a great organization.
The career directions that you've gone in, it's obvious that you're very familiar with both the Jewish and the secular world. It's no secret what the atmosphere is right now here in the United States, one of tension when one thinks about the anti-Semitism and some of the statements and actions of celebrities and others when it comes to attitudes toward the Jewish community. As someone who bridges all these different worlds, what's your impression of these and what do you think can be done?
Well, frankly, I'm scared. We're at a very dangerous inflection point, I believe, Nachum, in this particular area. There was just a new article that came out from the New York Times yet again, and the scope and the tenor of the approach of the attacks that are being waged on our community is really unprecedented. It's unprecedented in scope, unprecedented in tenor, and unprecedented in the approach that they're taking. Yeah. And I think that our response has to be a concerted one. We must push back. We must reinforce positive images of the community. And we have to remind people that we are entitled of the same fundamental rights and liberties that are granted to every other person in this great country of ours under our Constitution.
You've done great work with public officials, and we need them to step up at this time, and to really, including our own leaders, but public officials as well, Jew and non-Jew, to step up and to really remind everybody that we're an integral part of the community that needs to be respected.
Absolutely right.
A lot of young people watching tonight, and you have an incredible academic and professional background. What would you say to the next generation on an evening like this?
Two simple points, Nachum. One is get involved. Amudim needs people. The program that I'm running under the Agudas Yisrael now, called Project Clarity, to deal with the perceptions that are coming on our community based on the narrative that you just referred to, needs people. Everybody needs people. Our community is large, has diverse needs, and there's a role for everybody. It's good to be involved. And secondly, I always like to make the point, and I did this when I spoke last year here, I'd like to remind people that the sky is the limit. There's no limit to what we can do, contribute in whatever way we can, and at the same time, we do have to remember that the sky is indeed the limit. We are a great people. We're governed by important strictures, and that's what makes us a unique people.
Great message. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Moshe Silk and I encourage everybody to support the work of Amudim. We want to make sure the organization continues and continues strong. We have a special video now. We call it a PSA, a public service video, That's called Shattered. Please watch it very carefully and continue to give right now at unitetoheal.com.